Thank you. Hello, everybody. Okay, let's talk about design for AI. 85% of artificial intelligence and machine learning projects still fail to produce a return for the business. Why is that? Well, there are many reasons, but the main root cause is actually that the industry has a technology-centric approach, because there is so much attention and so much excitement around the technology, around machine learning and LLMs, that we almost forget as industry to focus on the human part of the system. And this leads to poor scope definition, because as I was saying, the attention is on what the machine is able to do and the next technological advancement, rather than the value that we can provide through that technology to the final users, which is what provides actual value for the business also. And once the scope is defined, well, the machine will just try to accomplish better and better and optimize for that task. And related to that, there's also another problem, which is poor dataset definition. Even if the scope is correctly defined, if the dataset is not defined according to the population you are designing for, you can end up with a dataset that is not representing the population and the final users that you are designing for. So you can end up with a situation like this, in which you have a population with hard starts and whatever, and the sample is just biased towards hard. And so you are not representing the entire population through, by training the model. There are also other two aspects, which are lack of system thinking, because we are basically trying to solve everything with AI, while it's just one small part of the system through which we can provide value to final users. And then a poor process. We are not changing the process, which is really needed if we want to have a humanity-centered way of designing these systems. So how can we be humanity-centered? We need to start focusing on learning goals, because we are talking about machine learning. Well, we need to define the learning goals according to human needs. How can we do that? Well, there is this framework is an educational framework used by in education, used by teachers, which focuses on three main steps. Identify desired results, which mean identify the results that the machine learning model should accomplish, and that should happen according to user research, and therefore, by starting from human needs, define what is the machine that needs to accomplish. And according to that, you can determine the acceptable evidence. So those metrics that will actually determine and show you that that learning is happening. And the third step is plan learning experiences, which is where the actual design happens. And while planning learning experiences is when you need to basically apply two main concepts. Two main principles. The first one is be inclusive in the way you collect the data, because how you build the data set will define how the machine will actually behave interacting with the final user. So it is important to be inclusive in the tools, in the mediums, and in an example that will be shown in a second. Basically, you can be part of the activities and observe users while your final users in actions to collect as much information as possible on their perspective and on their needs. And the second principle is design augmenting interactions, because there is at the moment hype around the AI, and therefore a lot of training is happening through humans, which is called the human in the loop approach. But as designers, we need to close the loop in another way, so enabling the human part to be augmented and to enable the human part to learn from those systems. We need basically to design and not being designed by these systems. So, for example, this can be done by showing to final users why the machine is doing something, show the vocabulary that it is used by the learning model or the categories, and help make it possible for the human human part to provide the feedback, but by understanding what is doing. So we need to change our approach to have both human and machine learning and evolving through time, so that we as humans can design these systems and not being designed. We can avoid business failures by focusing on the human part and build humanity-centered systems. Thank you.